Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here at Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you are here or in the comfort of your home, we're really glad that you have attended our meditation for this morning. So at this time, I invite you to close your outer eyes, allowing yourself to fully arrive in this moment now. Begin to scan the physical body for areas of tension or withholding. Beginning at the top of your head, moving your way down through the face, relaxing the muscles around your closed eyes, relaxing your jaw, dropping and relaxing the shoulders, unclenching whatever might be clenched, down to the toes. Fully acknowledge the body that you inhabit in this relaxed state, a gift to yourself and to the body. A small part of the day to turn inward and consciously connect with the divine, touching the center of your being, the place where spirit has its being in, as, and through you. Let's begin to bring your loving awareness to your breath. Do not try to change or modify your breath in any way. Just breathe in and out in whatever way is natural and easy for you. You might notice how the breath makes your belly rise, or how the breath feels as you breathe in through your nose and out again. It just feels so easy and effortless to breathe in and out in this beautiful, smooth rhythm. Let's take a deep, deep inhale, holding the breath for 3 seconds at the top and fully releasing on the exhale with an open mouth. Once more as we move deeper into our relaxation. Now continue breathing in and out naturally. Bring your awareness to your heart center. As you focus your attention there, you might notice that within your heart there's a beautiful small flame glowing warmly, brightly, like love's pilot light. As you continue to focus on this beautiful flame within your heart, bring to mind someone or something that you love unconditionally. This might be a child, a beloved pet, an angel, or something else. Allow the feeling of unconditional love to fill your heart. Notice as it fills your heart that the flame starts to grow, burning brighter. This is because love, in its nature, is expansive. Allow yourself to feel this love growing within your heart until it overflows, spills over out into the body, filling every fiber and cell and all the spaces between the cells. Pure, unconditional love. Continue to breathe deeply into this love filling your body. Now feel this light, this love, expanding beyond your body, flowing out into the room you are resting in. Love fills every space and crevice in the room with its warm, glowing light until the room pulses, keeping time with your breathing. And expand it must. Your love radiates out of the room and into the city or town that you are in. It fills and permeates every being, structure, and space within its warm, loving embrace. You feel your love expanding even more now until it covers and fills the entire earth. Your love flows in and through every creature and place on the planet. You may have a special affinity for certain animals or places, such as the ocean, dolphins, sea turtles, whales, or maybe the rainforest with monkeys, leopards, frogs, or perhaps it's the mountains with bears, deer, mountain lions, and more. Allow your love to flow through all the animals and all of these special places. Allow your love to flow out to all the waters on the planet, healing the rivers, estuaries, ponds, lakes, and oceans. Your love now reaches up into the sky, filling the air and all the birds, including the eagles, hawks, ravens, songbirds, and more, with pure love. You feel your love expanding, growing even more. The warm energy of your love pulses out into the universe in huge waves, expanding through and past all the stars and planets, through all dimensions of time and space. It keeps expanding more and more until suddenly it bursts beyond the universe to a beautiful, peaceful void. A void that is empty of everything but source and the love that it is, the love that you are. Here, there is only pure divine consciousness. Here, you are joined with love again, one with all that is. Allow yourself to bask in the loving oneness of Source. Be here now, breathing, being. Now allow your love to flow like a returning wave back through the universe, through all dimensions of time and space, past all the galaxies, planets, and stars. Continue to slowly flow your way back to Earth, back into your city or town, back into your room, back into your body, and gently, softly flowing back into your heart center. For a moment, allow your heart to simply glow with the power and beauty of this love. You have experienced the unlimited expansiveness of love. Let's continue being in this heart space for the remainder of our meditation. Begin to bring your attention back into the room. With eyes closed, reflect on your love's journey now that you're home again. With every heartbeat, we can be reminded of the love that we are, the source within us that lives us, breathes us. How can we more consistently, consciously allow this expansion into our everyday lives? Consider taking a moment in each day to practice allowing your love's expansion to the people you meet, into the places that you find yourself, into the experiences you encounter, and not just the pleasant ones. Expand fully. Expand into your travels while running errands, while in the workplace, while being with kids or with other family members. Love seeks only expansion, to connect with all the love that is, all the love inherent in each and every living thing. It is the one in oneness. Begin now to open your eyes and experience renewal. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We hope that you'll stay tuned at 10:15 for our celebration service. Thank you.
life living is you and me. Yeah. One light shining is you and me. Yeah. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. All right. One life living is you and me. Yeah. One light shining is you and me. Oh. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. Oh yeah. Come on. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. Oh yeah. Come on. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Cause God is all there is. Oh yeah. Come on. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. Oh yeah. Come on. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me. One love, loving, it's you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living, it's you and me. One light shining, it's you and me.
of completion, but it is also breadth, depth, and distance. What person can stand with autumn on a hilltop and fail to see the span of the world and the substance of the rolling hills that reach to the far horizons? Very beautiful. And Dennis Waitley says, this is the season of enjoying the fullness of life, partaking of the harvest, sharing the harvest with others, and revesting and saving portions of the harvest for yet another season of growth. So that is the fall equinox. Now, tomorrow is Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur is known as the Day of Atonement, and it's actually the holiest day of the year for those people that we know that celebrate the Jewish faith tradition. Its central themes are atonement and repentance. Jews traditionally observe this holy day with a 24-hour period of fasting and intensive prayer. Yom Kippur completes the annual period known in Judaism as the High Holy Days. A quote by Sarah Debbie Gutfried says, think of Yom Kippur as a lookout on the top of a mountain that you have been climbing all year. See your days and moments spread out before you. Be willing to look now at this big picture of your life, your ultimate goals, your beliefs. See each person in your life as part of that picture. What lessons have they taught you, even if you had to learn it through pain? What message is God sending you by putting this person in your life? So happy Yom Kippur to everyone. Thank you. One other last announcement. Join us for Lunch Bunch on the first Sunday in October. Sunday, October 1st, as we celebrate the October birthdays at Firebirds. Firebirds is located at 3200 Village Marketplace in Morrisville. And please let Heather know whether you plan on attending and how many people will be with you. I would like to thank Michelle Love for her beautiful meditation, for extending the container that our service will unfold within. Thank you so very much. And speaking of Michelle, let's invite her back up to the pulpit.
Thank you, Dusty. Good morning, everyone. Nice full room. This is wonderful. Thank you for being here today. Our theme for the year of 2023 is Living Out Loud. Our theme for the month of September is Love Out Loud. And Reverend Dusty's talk title today is Love Wins. That's right. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God, and so it is. I now invite you to close your outer eyes, turning within, opening your heart and mind, and allowing the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to simply wash over you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carol Cross. I'm one of the practitioners here, and it is an honor to be up here today and a particular pleasure because I'm seeing some beautiful faces that I haven't seen for a long time, as well as some beautiful faces who are here every week. So, welcome, everybody. We're so glad to have you. And I'm feeling extra energy from the through the metaverse out there. So thank you everyone for being here. So we're going to start with a flower dedication. And this flower dedication is from Ava Ingram on behalf of the entire community. She writes, "We want to celebrate our fearless leader, Dusty, during her birthday week. Dusty, you are a true inspiration to everyone who has the privilege to be touched by your presence, your wisdom, your spirit, and your sense of humor. Not only are you a true inspiration where your spirit and your wisdom illuminates our community every single day, but what's truly inspiring is watching the way you live your life with passion and the way you lead our community with selfless service and dedication. We have watched you lead our community tirelessly with wisdom and grace through some of the toughest challenges any spiritual community should bear. Your sense of humor uplifts and inspires everyone who comes in contact with you. We are so truly blessed to have you in our lives, and we want you to know how truly loved and appreciated you are every single day, but especially on your special day. So I invite everyone to stretch out their hands, and we're going to do our special blessing. Dusty, we love you, we see you, and we know who you truly are. Happy birthday, Dusty. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to do our blessings of all faith. And I am looking for Michelle and Joe Nowak to come up and support me in this. Mr. and Mrs. Goat Yoga themselves. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings and all goats and everybody else, everyone, everywhere with no exception. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now I invite you to close your eyes when I say a word of blessing on today's service. And Michelle had such a beautiful meditation this morning where she started with us looking within and imagining a flame in our heart, a candle with a flame in our heart. And I'm imagining those 70 candles that Dusty's going to have on her birthday cake on Tuesday, her actual birthday. And so it is a glorious light. And it reminds me of the truth that there is no darkness, there is only light. And that is who and what I am. I am the light of divine, unconditional love. Mm. And that is a glorious thing to remind myself. And I say it for me, but I also know it as the truth of each and every one of you. Each and every one in our world, in our planet, in our universe, you know, the Martians or whatever aliens are out there, they too are just different manifestations of the one power and presence that governs everything that there is in this power of unconditional love. So, knowing that we are creating today's event from that space, that divine unconditional love, I know that it is going to unfold perfectly. I say a word of blessing for all those who came early to prepare the space, to set things up, all the volunteers who help in whatever ways that they do, collecting money or counting the money or, you know, doing whatever service that they do. I say a word of blessing on Heather and Martin as they work their technical magic so that we can share this word not only with people in the room, but with the entire planet. I say a word of blessing on Michelle Love, who did a whole meditation about love, so that there is nothing but love in this room. And I can feel it, and I know that you can too. I say a word of blessing on our beloved Karen Daly, who will be the light through her music. And I say a word of blessing on our fearless leader, Reverend Dusty, who is the living embodiment of love. So who better to enlighten us about how we allow love to win than her? Finally, most importantly, I say a word of blessing on everyone who is here in the room, who is over the internet, who will watch this at some time in the future, because time and space do not matter in the divine realm. Because each of you are part of this service. Each of you contribute your light to today's event, and it would not shine as brightly without you. So thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to these teachings that allow us to brighten up a world that sometimes can look a little cloudy. And just thank you. So, with that heart full of love and gratitude, I turn it over to the law that always says yes and ask you to join me in affirming, and so it is. All right, now the reading for today is from Barbara DeAngelis, and she says, of all the wonders life on earth has to offer, none is greater to me than love. Love infuses life with meaning. It performs magic and miracles. It brings light where there was darkness and hope where there was despair. It is your greatest teacher and your most constant blessing. Love is a force more formidable than any other. It is invisible, yet it is powerful enough to transform you in a moment and to offer you more joy than any material possession could. Love is the magician of the universe. It creates everything out of nothing. Love produced you. Without it, you wouldn't be here at all. Love sanctifies life. Where love is, you are given a glimpse of the divine. No, of the sacred, sorry. The divine too, but she said sacred. You rise above your humanness and see the world through heavenly eyes. But most of all, I believe love offers you an opportunity for deep spiritual awakening. For when you love, the usual boundaries which separate you from something else dissolve. You transcend the illusion of separation, which can define human existence, and you experience oneness. And so it is. Okay, so talking about divine and sacred, I am so glad to welcome to the speaker, to the microphone, I mean, to us, to our room, to our world. Anyway, the beautiful and beloved Karen Daly.
A lot of people out here today. Is my mic on, Heather? We good? Okay. So this was a request by the lovely Rev Dusty. So this is a new one for me. It's an extremely Karenized version of a song called Love Wins by Cary Underwood. I'm gonna give her a go. Stray bullet and a mama cries. Baby won't be coming home tonight. Sirens screaming down the avenue. Just another story on the evening news. Politics and prejudice. How the hell did it ever come to this? When everybody's gotta pick a side, and it don't matter if you're wrong or right. But I believe you and me, we're sisters and brothers, and I believe we're meant to be here for one another, and we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. For a world that seems broken together again, and I believe in the end, love wins. Sometimes it takes a lot of faith to keep believing there will come a day when the tears and the sadness, the pain and the hate, the struggle, this madness will all fade away. Oh, love is power, love is a smile, love reaches out, it's a remedy, yeah. Love is the answer, love's an open door, and it's the only damn thing worth fighting for. And I believe you and me, we're sisters and brothers, and I believe we're made to be here for one another, and we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand for the world that seems broken together again. And I believe in the end, love wins. Love will, love can, love still, love wins. Love will, love can, love still, love wins. Love wins.
I think we could probably just all go home now. A couple of weeks ago, I heard that song by Cary Underwood, and I knew immediately that Karen Daly could do justice to it. And I knew, because of the title Love Wins, that I wanted her to do just that today. And so I asked. Can only get a yes if you ask. And I don't ask too often, but I did, and she said she'd give it a try. And then I never heard any more from her. So I figured she was working on it, and I'm very appreciative of that. I love it, and I know that Cary Underwood would love how you made it your own, because it was absolutely beautiful. Thank you. So today is our final conversation, right? Our final conversation during this month, whose theme has been Love Out Loud. We've talked about loving ourselves. We've talked about love on a spectrum. We've talked about loving our neighbors. And today my talk title is Love Wins. Now, love wins is often used as a slogan, right? Hashtag love wins. So it's often used as a slogan or a message of hope and possibility, particularly in regard to social justice movement or to really being fighting for equality. Love wins is often used as a way of expressing our belief that love is more powerful than hate or any other negative emotion, and as a way of promoting more compassion and more inclusivity in our communities and in society as a whole. It's typically used to encourage people to choose love and kindness over hatred and discrimination, and to promote a sense of unity and togetherness. And that was sung about in the song, and that was absolutely beautiful. It can be used more generally to really remind people to focus on those things that bring us together, those things that unite us rather than those things that separate us. It's an affirmation to triumph over hate, over discrimination, and over other negative emotions. It calls for people to really recognize the power of love itself and its ability to overcome obstacles, to really encourage understanding, and to nurture balance in the world today. The lens through which we see ourselves and each other and the world profoundly matters. It profoundly matters in general, there are two major categories of lenses. One of those lenses is fear, and the other lens is love. Fear is one of the universal emotions that, people experience all over the world. It's universal. We all experience, really, with no exceptions at some point in time in our life or another. In human beings, that fear may occur in response to certain stimulus, that occurs in the present moment, or to our anticipation or our expectation of something that might happen in the future, something that we perceive as a threat to our safety. Now, it's a distressing emotion, right? It usually causes some distress within us, and it's aroused by impending danger, pain, or any other real or imagined threat, an unpleasant emotion caused by a belief that there is someone or something that is dangerous to us or to our lives. On one hand, fear can actually serve a very, very important role in our lives. And it keeps us safe, right? It's a feeling that can inform us of a very real danger, something that is actually going to happen, like if you're walking along and all of a sudden a tiger is standing in front of you. It's an important feeling that can inform us of a very real danger, and it encourages us to take the necessary precautions that we might need to not put ourselves in situations that might put our safety at risk, right? Now, on the other hand, one acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Now, my understanding of how this shows up in our lives is that we take in our situations or the circumstances that we're in or the experiences that we are having with our human perceptions. And then the truth is that those human perceptions, though, are sometimes really jaded. And if they're not jaded, at the very least, they're conditioned by an entire lifetime of experiences that we've had up until that moment. So we take in that experience through our human perceptions, and then we create a story. And more often than not, that story that we create is not very life-affirming. And we do that out of those human perceptions. Now, so that's fear. On the other hand, when I'm talking about love today, I am talking about unconditional love. That love, the love of God. We've been talking about it all month. Now, love, like everything else that exists, has a specific vibration, a specific energetic vibration. And the particular vibration of love, is really a vibration that has a wonderful effect on everything else that it bumps up against. Now, it brings people together. It heals all experience of dis-ease in our lives. And it also smooths the way for growth and transformation as we walk our spiritual paths. Love is within us. That's the bottom line truth. Love is within us. We were all born with that emotion. It is a God quality that we arrived on the planet with. This idea of unconditional love is not something that we have to get from outside of ourselves. It is already existing within us, in its fullness and in its wholeness. However, we arrived on the planet with it, and then throughout time, and as time went by, we began to create a new world for ourselves. We began to create experiences or have experiences or buy into experiences or ways of thinking and believing that were told to us by, the people in our lives. We began to live our lives from a context of fear. With so much negativity and violence and brokenness in the world, it is not unheard of that that would happen. It is not uncommon that we have, in general, chosen to grasp onto and utilize a perspective of fear to view the world. It's just right there. And it's kind of part of the human condition to do it that way, right? Fear of others, fear of the unknown, fear of tomorrow, fear of life itself. Whenever we find ourselves in a situation in which we might feel sad or depressed or worried or doubtful or angry or judgmental or any of those other more what we would consider negative emotions, we need to realize that we are in fact experiencing fear. Remember, there's two categories, fear and love, and everything falls underneath one or the other. We also have to keep in mind that in most circumstances, in most situations, in most experiences, we have created that fear. We have created that fear that it's not real. It's not that tiger standing directly in front of us. It is false evidence appearing real. Fear. We made it up. We made it up. Don't beat yourselves up about it. But it's just become aware, right? We made it up. Love, on the other hand, is real. Love is our natural state of being in the world. Love created us. Love is who we are at our very core. Love is real. The question for each of us to ask ourselves is, from which lens do I most frequently choose to view the world? From which lens do I most frequently choose to view the world? Our answer not only influences what we see, how we feel, who we know, what we think, the words we speak, but ultimately the actions that we take, the results that we get, and the world we live in. There's a beautiful quote by a man named Pedro Arrupe, which says, "What you are in love with, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what will get you out of bed in the morning, what you will do with your evenings, how you will spend your weekends, what you read, who you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you with joy and gratitude. Fall in love, stay in love, and it will decide everything." In honesty, however, we could just as easily read and experience it like this. What you fear, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what will get you out of bed in the morning, what you do with your evenings, how you spend your weekends, what you read, who you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you with joy and gratitude. Fall in fear, stay in fear, and it will affect everything. Take a breath. We either choose love or we choose fear. And it's up to each of us. The thing to understand is that when we start saying yes to the universe, when we start saying yes to love, fear will no longer have a place in our life. For that which is loved cannot be feared, and that which is feared cannot be loved. The two cannot coexist. We cannot serve two masters. When one is present, the other is absent. Fear cannot survive in the presence of those who are loving. So why would we choose to choose fear when we can just as easily choose to choose love? Today, we can look out at the world around us through our human eyes and see turmoil and violence and poverty and homelessness and disenfranchisement and on, and we will be disheartened. However, the truth is that we can. In the midst of our experience, in the midst of all of that, know that each and every single one of us individually and collectively can actually co-create a world that works for everyone. A society that reflects our deepest values of wholeness and oneness and unity and love. While it might be hard to find a solution for every single problem, at the level of the problem, the underlying truth is that there is a solution to every single problem from the spiritual side of life. When we bring in more love into our lives, we raise the frequency of our consciousness. And when we raise the frequency of our consciousness, then that frequency will unavoidably have a positive effect on everyone around us. Things will change. Now, I believe that the main focus of humanity must be to bring more love into the equation. When we live consciously from the understanding that love is all that there is, then that love ultimately wins. And then and only then will we all experience a life of love that is greater than we have ever experienced before in our lives, that will be greater than anything that we could imagine in this moment from the level of the problem. Now, this morning, I have 3 ideas to share. And the first is that many people look at the events of the world and are concerned about our future. But if we look at our past, right, we don't want to drag our past with us, but we can look at our past and we can see the lessons and we can see the fact that we've always been just fine. In the end, in God, everything is okay. If it doesn't feel okay and it doesn't feel fine in the moment, it's because it's not the end. There has always been conflict and dis-ease and division. However, love, healing, growth, transformation, unity, peace, joy have also existed throughout the ages. Holding on to fear about our future is unnecessary, and in fact, it is actually counterproductive, right? So our time could be better spent and our ability to co-create what we really want to experience in our lives enhanced by celebrating all of the ways in which love has already won time and time again, and all of the ways that it is winning right here and right now today. For example, not too long ago, people could not, by law, marry outside of their religion or outside of their race or outside of the accepted heterosexual idea of marriage. People were denied a basic right of loving whomever they loved and being able to do that openly and legally. While it did not happen overnight, every one of these barriers to a life that works for everyone was changed. Each one fell to the wayside as a belief that no longer served the global family. People examined their own consciousness, their own hearts, and they let love lead the way, opening the space for acceptance and for respect. And as more and more people opened to the truth, a tipping point was finally reached, and the world was changed. Little by little, over time, love wins. Now, more specifically, we could look at, and many of you might know the names, Mildred Jeter and Richard Loving. Now, they were charged by the state of Virginia for marrying at a time when interracial marriages were banned by the state. The U.S. Supreme Court struck down that ban, leading to interracial marriages becoming legalized throughout the country. They were willing to love out loud, and in the end, love wins. When Will and Grace premiered on NBC in 1998, it was the first network TV show with a same gender loving protagonist. That show sparked a global shift towards cultural acceptance of same gender loving. Now, again, that did not happen over time. And earlier than that show, marginalized individuals throughout history who fought for the right to be themselves and to love who they loved paved the way for that. But that show really brought it forward, along with other shows like Ellen coming out, right? Freedom starts with an individual's decision to love out loud. Love wins. In the 1980s, the stigmatization of people with HIV/AIDS disease was an enormous barrier to even discussing it, let alone addressing it. A simple act in 1987 of the love and kindness of the most famous woman in the world at that time, Princess Diana, changed the world when it was shown on worldwide television. The image showed Princess Diana touching an HIV/AIDS infected child. The image did a great deal around the world to change the perception of HIV and AIDS, and most specifically in Europe, to change that stigmatization, to allow for compassion, understanding, and healing. And our world was forever changed. Love wins. The second idea is that love is the solution to any problem. Love is the solution to any problem, any experience that causes conflict. I'm sure you can think of some in your own life, in your immediate families or extended families or communities. Any experience that causes conflict is actually an invitation for a shift to occur. When we dive deeper into love to resolve any situation that arises, then we allow for that shift to happen. We create the space for that shift to occur. Conflict allows for us to practice love. It allows for us to practice forgiveness, radical forgiveness sometimes. And when we respond to our challenges with radical forgiveness, we demonstrate to ourselves and to each other that love is valuable, that love is significant in our lives, that love changes things, and that love wins. Every challenge is an invitation to discover that love actually resides behind it. Just behind it, just behind that circumstance, just behind that situation, just like the sun behind the clouds. Love is there. It's present everywhere at all times in its fullness and in its wholeness, and it is right there. And when we choose to operate from that space, then that shift can happen. You might be able to think about it in your own lives when you chose to take the high road, or you chose to be a space of love, that your relationship with the person that you were struggling with changed. They didn't change, you did. You brought the love that we are at our very core to the situation. For example, in 1971, some of you may remember this, the Durham schools were suffering from increasing racial tension. Despite the fact that in 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that segregated schools were unconstitutional, and that in 1960, there was the federal civil rights legislation, and the fact that the Durham District Court had just ordered desegregation of the schools in Durham were still segregated. Hello. Students and parents were getting into fights at school over this whole issue. Motivated by fear of violence among the students, a councilman named Bill Riddick organized a series of community conversations called a charrette. So he organized these community meetings, and the first step was to create a steering committee that was representative of this very diverse community itself. So he recruited participants from all sectors of Durham and invited the Black activist Ann Atwell to co-chair, get this, to co-chair this charrette with the reigning exalted Grand Cyclops of the Durham Ku Klux Klan, C.P. Ellis. Now, C.P. Ellis and Ann Atwater knew of each other as they had attended many of the same meetings over the course of a few years, and although they were from opposite sides of the conversation, clearly. They both felt a lot of resentment towards the other person. Not a lot of love was there. Atwater initially declined to serve as the co-chair, but ultimately, although reluctantly, she agreed to work with Ellis. He had similar feelings and in fact was overheard to say it was impossible. How could I possibly work with her? Over the course of the charrette, Atwater and Ellis came to realize some commonalities. They talked about the hardship of raising children in poverty, and that their efforts to emphasize their potential and the potential of their children was equal to that of the middle class students. They wanted to emphasize that. They both wanted their children to attend schools free of violence. Ellis later said, "Here we are, two people from the far end of the fence having identical problems, except her being Black and me being white. The amazing thing about it, her and I, up to that point, had cussed each other out. We had bawled each other. We hated each other. Up to that point, we didn't know each other. We didn't know that we had things in common." Now, the two antagonists eventually learned to work together. Moving past race, they began to focus on all of the other issues that they had in common, such as the academic quality of the Durham school systems. After 10 days of talks, they began to really see their shared humanity. After 10 days of talks, they came to know each other as individuals rather than as stereotypes. After 10 days of talks, C.P. Ellis and Ann Atwater became the unlikeliest of friends. And by the end of the charrette, they were able to present to the school board a list of recommendations that brought forth the highest and the best of everyone involved. Love wins. Dorothy Day says, love and ever more love is the only solution to every problem that comes up. If we love each other enough, we will bear each other's faults and burdens. If we love enough, we are going to light a fire in the hearts of others. And it is that love that will burn out the sins and the hatred that saddens us. It is love that will make us want to do great things for each other. No sacrifice and no suffering will ever seem too much. And the third idea is that when we're out in the world serving as an example, as the presence of love itself, we're proving to each other and to the world that love always wins. Our decision to embrace who we are and to love who we love will inspire others to do the same. Loving ourselves and others aligns ourselves with beautiful opportunities, with amazing experiences, and with the peace that passes all understanding. A story that speaks to this is about an 18-year-old student at Nashville Christian School. When word got out that B. Hayes was banned from going to their prom because they wore a suit and not a dress, the local community stepped up to organize another prom. I greatly appreciate the support from my community, Hayes said, and I want others who have experienced similar situations to know that they are not alone. There are people in this world who stand up with you. Love wins. We all have the power. We all have the power within us to respond to any conflict that we experience with love. This does not mean that we ignore or that we spiritually bypass what's going on in the world around us. However, we have spent too much time meeting anger with anger, hatred with hatred, judgment with judgment, violence with violence, and cruelty with cruelty. If we want to change the world, we have to stop stepping into these outmoded ways of being in the world. We have to stop. Taking effective action within our own communities requires that we start by consciously and consistently choosing love ourselves. When we serve by example and we really share our experiences with the people around us, then we inspire others to do the same. We pave the way for them to do the same. Loving each other involves being able to accept and to really respect people for who they are. Family members, friends, coworkers, and acquaintances who have opposing beliefs can actually co-create space for everyone to be able to expand their understanding and their experience of love. We don't have to agree on every subject in order to love one another. To create a peaceful community, it's really important that we make space for everyone to be able to advocate and to extend their beliefs. Loving discussions allow for all of us to shift into a higher way of being in our lives, to become who we were really created to be. We are changing the world by being willing to choose love. We are. Advocating for ourselves and each other's right to express love in our own unique way assists us to co-create a world that works for everyone. Regardless of what challenges we are facing in our personal lives or in the world, love is always the answer. When we live from the understanding that love always wins and we consciously see that love always unfolding before us, and that life is calling for us to express it in our own unique and really wonderful way, as us, through us, right? That is constantly calling us to express that love every moment of every day. And when we do this individually and collectively, the world that we create will be very, very different from the world that we are experiencing right now. It will be very different. It will be a world that is based on pure love, and I am telling you, it will work for everyone. There is a power for good in the world. That power is pure love, and believe me, it will win. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. So I just invite everyone to close your outer eyes and to turn within for a moment to anchor the message in prayer. With my eyes closed and my attention turned inward, I am acutely aware of that power and presence that is within me. That power and presence that is the very essence of unconditional love. I know that it is who and what I am. I know that I was created by it, out of it, in a moment of unconditional love. I know that it is always there and always available. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is the truth of each and every person here today. Each and every single one of us is connected to that presence of love by the golden thread of love itself. There is only love. Anything else is false evidence appearing real. We are united, held together by this presence of love that is at our very core. And it's from that place of unity, from that place of deep and abiding love, that I speak these words about and for each of us today, truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, and that while our humanness may tell us one thing about ourselves and about each other and about our world, the truth is often very different from that. The invitation today is to come back home, to return to the truth of who and what we are, to return to that presence of unconditional love within us, to let go of the stories that keep us stuck in fear, that keep us stuck in an inability to move out of ways of being that keep us separate from each other, that don't allow us to come together in ways that promote the highest and best of both of us. I claim that by doing so, we bring forward that love into the world, and that everyone we touch is touched by it. that they then turn around and extend that love out to the people in their world, and that ultimately, like the 100th monkey, like that tipping point, love wins. And we all find ourselves in a world that works for everyone. We all find ourselves in a world that we love to live in. It begins with us, and I claim ease and grace around all of us choosing love, choosing to not choose fear consciously, consistently, not falling into old habits, but consciously choosing love. And to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it changes things, it heals dis-ease, it smooths our path. I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes, that my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken, and that it is with ease and grace that we begin to really powerfully step into the love that we are at our core. And so I release these words into that law, letting go and letting God be God. And I invite each of us to anchor the prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is, and so it is. Amen. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist our community to be a beacon of light and a beacon of warmth in the greater Triangle area. Together, we affirm the truth that this offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are 3 ways that you can give. They are here on the screen or on your screens at home. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. You can text the word give using the following number, 919-230-8445, or you could actually mail a check to our office at PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina, 27519. So in this moment, I invite you to place your hand over your heart with your gift and an affirmation for yourself or for the community. And repeat our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you all so very much for your generosity. And now please be generous as we welcome back to her stool and her guitar and her mic, the lovely, talented, beautiful Karen Daly.
Thank you, Dusty. She makes fun of my stool because I bring my stool with me. I can't just use any stool. It has to be apparently this stool. Thank you, Dusty. Gosh, love, love, love. I just want to go home, and it's my anniversary today. So what a great day to hear about love. Yeah, 7 years. So this is one of my favorite songs about love. It's called Love Can Build a Bridge by the Jets. I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet, to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. And I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. And all your hopes are sinking. Let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your don't you think it's time? Oh, don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart would understand. Love and only love can join the tribes of man. And I would give my heart's desire just so you might see. The first step is to realize it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? 'Cause when we stand together, well, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, anything. Keep believing in the power. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Oh, don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Thank you.
It's magnificent. So thank you, Karen. You helped make this a 3 tissue service for me. But I had the privilege of watching everyone's faces as they were listening to you. And I know I wasn't the only one. So thank you. Okay, so if anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. On the homepage, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We will get that prayer and send it out to all the ministers and practitioners. So, if anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Rev Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. Okay, so so it is time for our final shot at our September affirmations. So I invite everybody to stand up, whether you're here at home, and really say this with intention. Say these words with love. I know that enjoying the experience of being loved and loving others starts with loving myself. I inspire love in the world by living as an example of what love looks like. By By doing so, I encourage others to love themselves and to embrace their own expression of love. Today, I choose to remain conscious and aware of the presence of love. I see every being as a divine expression of that love. As I live consciously from that understanding, as I live consciously from the understanding that love is all there is, I experience a life of love greater than I have ever known. Choosing to live by example and to love unconditionally, I consciously serve the creation of a world that works for everyone. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. All right, you can be seated. And for one last time, I invite you to close your eyes as I close today's service with our prayers of gratitude. And, to paraphrase the famous song from The Lion King, can't you feel the love right now? And it is like a tsunami of love in this room, over the airways, in this community. And it is pouring out. Each one of us is being just a fountainhead of love for everyone and everything in this world. And I know that today's event has allowed us to get in touch with that unending source of love that is our truth, and has assisted us in opening our floodgates so that we can participate actively in using our individual expressions of love to lift this entire planet. I know that today's event inspires us and creates us, and it puts the intention in our being to use our ways of loving to get that much closer to our collective goal of a world that works for everyone. So I am full of gratitude. Gratitude for these teachings, gratitude for Reverend Dusty and Karen, and Michelle, and everyone who participated in today. Gratitude that you were part of creating this magnificent event. So once again, I just turn all of these intentions to choose love over fear every moment, every day, knowing that the divine force that rules this universe will make it so. And I ask you to join me in affirming this for ourselves and for our entire community with our words, and so it is. Thanks.
Thank you all so very much for being here today. My thank you goes out to Ava for the beautiful flower dedication, and for the community for all of your birthday wishes and your love. I'm very appreciative of it. I am so, so blessed. Thank you all. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you soon. I love you. Bye, everybody.